Okay, should be back live. We have a quite the interesting storm down here with a decent little area of rotation here south and west of Tallulah, Richmond. It's kind of a more discreet supercell here just south of Lake Providence that is moving off to the north and east towards Highway 20. And yeah, been keeping an eye on this storm for a little bit. And as you can see, the rotation is starting to intensify a little bit on this storm, and even maybe something there indicating that there could be something trying to touch down. As of right now, it's radar indicated. Not seeing a definite debris signature with it, but that is certainly suspicious. If you live over here near Tallulah or Richmond, Louisiana, you guys need to be in your safe spots. This storm, and we just got a considerable severe thunderstorm warning over in Panola County in Texas. It's going to be over here near Carthage, Texas for 70-mile-per-hour winds, golf ball sized hail, about to move through the Carthage, Texas area. So make sure you guys are indoors, well away from windows. This storm will definitely pack a punch, could cause some power outages as well. So please be indoors and well away from those windows. Also, another severe thunderstorm warning back over here just to the east of Henderson, and another line of storms is trying to push down to the south and east towards Longview as well. So if you guys live in this area, just make sure that you are watching out for some damaging winds of up to 60-mile-per-hour winds for Jefferson and Linden as well. Our severe threat for now is outside of Little Arkansas, but we could see a new reinvigoration of that over there near El Dorado. So we're keeping an eye on this little cluster up there near Magnolia. And yeah, we have a tornado warning back over here near Tallulah, which has a decent little velocity couplet here just near Tanasis River. And it looks like this storm is in a pretty decent shear environment of around 35 knots, 30 to 35 knots. Sorry, my nose is getting stuffed up. But yeah, around 30 to 35 knots of lower level shear. And also it's pretty favorable type direction of shear for a tornado. Potentially even a strong tornado can't be ruled out with a storm like this. It is discreet. It is kind of tapping into some instability here. It doesn't really have many storms around it to disrupt its ability to produce a tornado here. So I really do think that this storm has a decent likelihood of producing a tornado. So if you live again in Tallulah or Richmond, Louisiana, you guys need to be in your safe spots. Let me go ahead and get our Louisiana cameras up. I'm not sure if we can actually have any of them close to the storm, but I do want to check it out. Replace this really quick to that there. I know there's some near Monroe. I just don't know if there's anything further east than that. Yeah, there's a cluster of them in Monroe, which is to this west. And we can look at the Monroe storms, I guess, which are not working. Yeah, might have some power outages over here in Monroe. A lot of these cameras are not working. There we go. All right. But yeah, that is the latest here. So make sure you guys are in your safe spots. Again, that's the lowest, most interior portion of your house. As many walls in between you and the outside as humanly possible. A tornado shelter or a basement that is underground, and you need to be getting there immediately, as this storm still has a pretty tight velocity couplet on it. Potentially a debris signature popping up on radar. Seems a little bit disconnected though from where our velocity couplet is. I don't think that that can be fully confirmed as a tornado yet. That might just be some hail, but definitely something to keep an eye on. Yeah, you can see it's just a little bit south on that velocity couplet. Maybe we had like a brief tornado and like in between scans, and maybe some debris got slung around, or as you can see, there is a decent amount of purple in this region. That also could be some larger hail falling out of this storm. But it's only warned for 0.75 inch hail, so I'm not exactly sure what the yard today. Yeah, filled out. How long till it gets to Memphis? It's technically there. Like the leading edge of these storms are about to move into the Memphis area, probably within the next hour or so. You're starting to get some rain, and it looks like that's about to be really all you guys are going to experience with that storm, to be honest. Yeah, right in there. Decently organized area of rotation. You can see that we do have these blues, transitioning into darker blue. I will say on the red sides, it's a little bit weak.
New information.
Oh, wow.
This tornado warning.
There you go.
Upgraded.
We now officially have a tornado on the ground here. This is an observed tornado. It looks like they are thinking that this is a debris signature here associated with the tornado. They're saying that it is radar. Let me see. Is it radar observed? Yeah, radar confirmed tornado there. So again, if you live in Tallulah, Richmond, please be in your safe spots. Again, this is a tornado. Definitely with the sheer environment that is around this storm, could definitely be have that capability of becoming a strong tornado. There you go. So again, if you live in Tallulah or Richmond, you guys need to be in your safe spots. This tornado is located near the Tennessee River National Wildlife Refuge, Fortune Fork, Thomastown, Coleman, Mound, Ashley, and Mansford all need to be in their safe spots. Again, this tornado that is currently in progress is just south of Lake Providence in northeastern Louisiana. Oh yeah, you can see on our latest debris scan, look at that debris ball now popping up right over our velocity couplet. So we're definitely seeing a confirmable signature here for tornado being on the ground. Basically what that means is that this tornado is lifting debris into the air, and now our radar is starting to see it. We come over here. Yeah, our latest velocity scan still shows a very tight couplet on the storm. Not super powerful velocities on it, but certainly strong enough to be lofting debris up into the air. Let me do this really quick. I want to go over to the correlation coefficient, see if we can see how high this debris is getting lofted. Yeah, not that high right now. Seems to be under 11,000, maybe somewhere between 6,000 and 8,000 feet. Getting lofted into the air there. So it doesn't seem to be a, typically when we see a stronger tornado, it'll get up above 11,000, close to 20,000 feet up into the atmosphere. So we're not seeing that kind of tornadic debris signature yet with this storm. So I can't, fortunately it's behind my head. You guys can't see it what I'm looking at here. But yeah, that's how tall the debris ball is. So we're not necessarily talking about a very strong tornado yet, but again, with 35 knots of shear close to this storm, it'll certainly be enough to potentially even produce a strong tornado if this storm can get its act together. You can actually see down to its south and east, it does have we are seeing an indication here of maybe some stronger inflow starting to pull into this storm now, which means that where the storm is about to start to interact with a little bit stronger of a lower level jet, might help push it into a little bit of a stronger tornado. So again, if you live over there near Tallulah or Richmond, you guys need to be in your safe spots. Again, this is a tornado that is in progress. It has been confirmed by radar. This is an on-the-ground tornado. This tornado is doing damage. So this is not like just your run-of-the-mill tornado warning where there's not a tornado on the ground. This is a tornado that is currently causing damage, most likely just judging by the area where this tornado is. I'm not seeing any buildings. There are some buildings where it started. So over here near the Tennessee River, some of this debris can unfortunately be some houses being destroyed here. So again, if you live in Tallulah and Richmond, just be in your safe spots until further notice. I do want to just go check around just to make sure that none of our other storms are starting to do anything similar. Yeah, it looks like we're doing pretty well. There are maybe a couple over here near Eudora. Be another one trying to form north and east of Oak Grove. Definitely seems like our lower level shear is really starting to push into this area here into northeastern Louisiana, maybe a little bit earlier than we thought. This line of storms is a little bit more progressive in nature, meaning it's moving to the east a little bit faster than what some of the models indicated. But yeah, back over here near Carthage, just a quick reminder. For Carthage, Texas, we have golf ball sized hail, 70-mile-per-hour winds about to move through your city. I'm not seeing much of a tornado threat with these storms, but that hail mixed with that wind can definitely cause some damage. So watch out over there in Carthage, Texas. All right, let's come back over to this camera. This is in Monroe, Louisiana. As you can see, there's some lightning on this storm. There's a lot of heavy rain falling in Monroe as well. So you guys might need to be watching out for some flooding in Rayville and then maybe eventually in Delhi. We're not seeing much rotation with this activity near Monroe, but as you can see, it's definitely an electric. Oh, is that a person walking on the side of the highway in the middle of a storm? I mean, listen, I get it. He could be a psychopath, but I really do feel like one of y'all should stop and like pick him up. At least bring him to like a gas station. Bro's having a rough day, bro. Dude is having the worst day. His car probably broke down. He's just trying to get back to shelter. My goodness. Poor guy. Or girl, I can't tell. All right, let's come back over here. Checking our latest scan is in. You can see that we still have a tighter couplet here and still potentially a debris signature on our storm. So this is still likely a tornado in progress. Again, still moving towards 65 and 603. Again, Tallulah, Richmond, Fortune Fork still need to be in their safe spots. Again, we have a tornado that is on the ground. All right. Don't think I have any storm chasers near this storm. I think everybody gave up. Yeah, there are no storm chasers out here, I do believe. Let me just check in with Severe Studios just to make sure. Yeah, we got storm chaser in Oklahoma. It's not very helpful. I'll check live storm media too. We have time in between scans. There are chances for some decent wins in Memphis. I'm not seeing anything like super elevated to where, you know, you'll have a higher likelihood of your power going out, but it's definitely going to be enough for you to hear it and to notice it. You know, if you got a diseased tree near your house, you know, they could see some branches fall off of it. Yeah, I am not seeing a single chaser out there. I do think, though, if I bring up the has cams, might have some cameras nearby. We can use Mississippi. Yeah. Yeah, I have one in Rolling Fork, but this storm is south of Rolling Fork. Let me check radar mega just to be sure. Yeah, it looks like Vince Welty is out there north of this storm. I don't think we can use Vince Welty unless somebody can let me know otherwise, but I'm pretty sure we cannot use Vince Welty. He does not allow us. Latest scan here on our storm. Not seeing as definite of a debris signature. Let me just put this in motion. I could still technically be one. The velocity signature over that, though, is not as convincing. We definitely still have an area of some circulation and what appears to be some debris inside of our storm just to the west of 65. Still moving off to the east towards Tallulah and Richmond. So still be sheltered in place. Again, you need to be in the lowest, most interior portion of your house with as many walls in between you and the outside as humanly possible. A tornado shelter or a basement that is underground. Again, this is a tornado that is in progress. And it is still likely on the ground. As far as I can tell, there still seems to be something there. We're gonna have to wait one more scan to be able to 100% confirm, but still enough of a velocity signature and enough on our correlation coefficient to make the argument that that could still be picking up some debris. Just probably not a lot. It's probably weakened since its peak, but it's still a dangerous storm with a tornado in progress. Yes, this is a confirmed tornado on the ground, confirmed via radar. If we go back into several scans before, you can see that debris signature pops up there. And we're even getting some debris spread out. I do want to check back in on where, maybe looking at it in 3D will help us understand what this storm is doing. That didn't really help. Didn't really help that much. I can still confirm though that the if it is still picking up debris, it is throwing it up pretty shallowly at this moment. Anything for Northwest Alabama soon? Not really. I would say probably within the next 2 to 3 hours, maybe a little bit more than that. Let me come over to the latest HRRR model for you, just so you can see the latest. At least for that scenario, we should have the 0Z out by now. No, let me do a refresh. Yeah, the 0Z is loading, not completely out. But yeah, our latest on the timing, Here, northwestern Alabama by 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. Does that mean it seems to be calming down for where? Just woke up. How's Hopkinsville looking tonight? Windy. Probably going to be pretty windy. Actually, a decent little line. Let me see if this is an EMA camera here. I cannot tell. I think it is. I don't see an EMA symbol on there, so maybe it's not. I don't know. But yeah, the windy line, probably a lot of winds out in front of the storm and near the storm as well. Somewhere around 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. You know, I wouldn't say it's a super elevated possibility that you're going to lose power, but you probably, you know, need to be watching out for the small possibility of that. I know Hopkinsville has a, you know, depending on the day type, you know, electric grid. I've been to that area before. How many tornadoes have been in total today? Anywhere from 2 to 4 tornadoes. Still, there was a weird signal in Indiana earlier today, but I still haven't heard much in terms of damage out of that. So I'm not sure if we can confirm that one for 100% yet, but for sure we've had 2 tornadoes. No go on Vince. Yeah. Yeah, I know we used to work with him before, but I don't know what his pricing is. I haven't talked to him in a while. How's Kentucky? I am scared. You guys are gonna be all right. Low chance for tornadoes up there in Kentucky, but I'd be watching out for some winds. How's Yazoo City? So far, you guys are good right now. You got a lot of rain coming. The storm is kind of angled towards you guys, but it, you know, as this interacts with more storms in the area and this line approaching from behind, it's going to be harder for it to maintain tornadic capability. I will say, if we come over to our mesoscale analysis, really quick, we come over to the surface-based cape, you can see that we're really dealing with the world's tiniest area where there are storms and actually enough instability to support, you know, really these discrete cells in general. They're just kind of in the sweet spot. There's a little bit of a capping inversion starting to form, which is not good for storms. Low-level lapse rates are also just barely hanging on in this area. So these storms are right on the line of being able to produce tornadoes, and not at least thermodynamically. If we come over to our upper air pattern, you can see though that our lower level shear is starting to pick up in this area. Our storm is right here. We have 30 knot shear around that, 35 knots pushing into it. And as we go into the future, we are expecting that to continue into the future and maybe even get up into 40 knots as this moves into western Alabama. But by then our storm should be mostly just a damaging wind threat. But overall, you know, this storm could last for maybe thermodynamically, there is not a whole lot of leeway. So if we have really any interaction with any other storm in this environment, these storms will probably start to fall apart. And then, you know, it'll just turn into a mess again. This storm just was discrete for just long enough, just got into some instability long enough, was a tall enough, mature enough storm, and in a decent shear environment. So if that happens again, we could definitely see another tornado in this area, and we'll be able to see that probably until our instability or our capping inversion starts to either the instability starts to go away, or the capping inversion really starts to build in. So, you know, as of right now, though, it does look like our storm might not be producing a tornado anymore. I cannot see a organized area of debris, but I still want Tallulah and Richmond to be in their safe spots. Again, this is a tornado with a storm with a history of producing a tornado and could produce another tornado. So don't come out of your safe spots yet, just because you don't think there's a tornado on the ground. These radar scans come in like once every 2 to 5 minutes. We haven't seen the latest radar scan in a couple of minutes, so it might already be producing another one, or it might not be. But that's the thing. That's the whole point in just staying inside of your safe spots until the storm is past, just to make sure that, you know, you're not getting caught with your pants down. What's a couplet? A couplet is an area where we have light greens or inbound winds really close to the outbound winds. So the green is the green on this velocity scan is showing the winds that are going towards the radar, and the reds are showing the winds going away from the radar. So when you see bright reds or elevated reds near elevated greens, or even sometimes they can transition into blue, or these reds can transition into yellow, indicating even stronger winds, that's when you are starting to see a tight velocity couplet. And typically, if it's not caused by contamination, can be quite the telltale sign, at least on radar, that a tornado is developing. New severe thunderstorm warning over there near Haskell, McIntosh, and Muskogee counties in Oklahoma. Let's go ahead and check that out. Oh, that didn't do it. Let's try this. There we go. So yeah, that's this one that's south of Muskogee, Warner, Porham, Whitefield, Stigler, and Tomahawk. That's going to be 1 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. It's heading down to the south and east. Definitely enough to make some noise, but you guys should be all right. You're used to that. It's nothing out of the ordinary for old Oklahoma. Let's come back over here to Texas really quick, give an update on some of these storms. 1 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds now making their way into Jefferson, about to come into Rodessa and Marshall, probably within 10 to 15 minutes. Back down here, they have downgraded this storm, thankfully, from golf ball sized hail down to ping pong ball sized, so a little bit smaller there. And the winds have also dropped from 70 miles per hour down to 60 miles per hour. So good news there. Not as strong as of a storm, not as impactful of a storm, but definitely still enough to at least not be outside for. All right, let's come back over here. Looks like they have changed our tornado warning back down to a radar indicated tornado warning. So that is great news. That's what we like to see. So not only have we confirmed it, they have confirmed it on the NWS side that this is no longer a tornado on the ground, but a tornado warning is still in progress. Still continue to be in your safe spots, as again, the storm is still technically in that environment that helped it produce the first tornado, although I am seeing submergers and some other storms starting to make their way into our storm's inflow, which means that'll probably disrupt it from here on out, but they're not quite there. So maybe a small opportunity in the next 5 or 10 minutes for this thing to try to respin up. If it doesn't take advantage of that, then these mergers will keep it at bay, at least for the next 10 to 30 minutes. And we'll have to be watching out for another storm. All right, tornado warning in Louisiana. There we go. That's what I'm thinking. Look north of our tornado warning. Yeah. We've been seeing ooh, I don't think I have a better radar for that. Yeah, the radar far away on that one is interesting. Yeah, no, I agree with that assessment that this storm over here near Rayville is starting to develop some rotation. Yeah, see, this is come over here, refresh this, and then I think I have a camera a little bit further north of this. Yeah, near Lampkin. Let me see if we can get like a sneak preview of this storm. No. Oh, there we go. Definitely a lot of lightning in the distance. Yeah, a little bit of rotation with this storm. It is kind of hard to tell, though. I will admit, and thank you, Kim, for being a member for 3 months. Thank you so much. Thank you for that support. It is kind of hard to tell, given that we're really far away from this storm on radar, but there does appear to be some sort of couplet there, but we have a lot of hail in the area, and it's pretty far away from any closer radars, meaning that there's a pretty good chance that that is a contaminated signal. I do think I have some cameras in Mississippi, though, that are... near Vicksburg, hopefully, if I remember correctly. I'm just getting those traffic cameras here. There we go. We'll switch over to here, here. Don't need the Arkansas cameras, at least for now. So we'll switch this one out. Yeah, we have some cameras in Vicksburg. It's just looking west. Oh yeah. So this is the lightning from that tornado warning off in the distance. That very outer edge of the precipitation shield of this storm is pouring into Vicksburg right now. So you guys are getting rain, and that rain is actually coming from that storm that just produced a tornado. And they did allow that tornado warning to expire. So good news for Tallulah and Richmond. Our tornado warning has been allowed to expire. You guys can come out of your safe spots there. Louisiana Pete's appreciates you, especially given how close this is to Rolling Fork. Source of reassurance. Yeah, no problem. Glad we could help. Zapson, Vicksburg, yes. We are looking at them right here. That is the lightning from our tornado warned storm. Or, I guess, past tornado warned storm. Let me change my title again. I wish I could get my title to change automatically. Hey, thank you, Sunflower, for becoming a WIMD member. Yeah, no problem, Julianne. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, this is a short stream, and this is just kind of a one-off thing, but you never know sometimes with these storms. Especially when we have a lot of these little storms in here. The good news, we'll do a little bit more of a wider scale synopsis here of what I'm seeing, just so you guys can have a better, broader view of what could be possible as we go throughout the night. So just let me change my title. There we go. So yeah, what I am seeing right now is giving me a little bit of hope, at least for these other storms. I am keeping an eye on this storm near Vandalia. I think this one's going to have a pretty good chance if it can mature. That's a big if. As our forcing is a little bit stronger further up to the north. Also, what we're going to be watching for is these line segments up here further up to the north as well. We're watching for these cold pool surges, which essentially means if I switch over to the radar, you can see got these large areas of red and purple. That is a bunch of rain. And if you guys have ever stood in rain, it's not warm, it's cold. And that cold air hits the surface, and sometimes it can surge, push a little mesocyclone out into some better instability and allow for a tornado to form. And given our shear environment, that is something that we're going to be watching for in this area, are for the not typically strong tornadoes, but briefer and weaker tornadoes that can occur along this line segment. And we're also watching these storms out here in front of our line segment. But as I've said before, pretty much any of these storms that are sitting next to a merger, our thermodynamic profile is on a knife's edge, which basically means that warm and stable air is not, warm and unstable air is not really that warm, and it's not really that unstable. So if you get a big area or even a small area near a stronger storm where it introduces just a little bit extra cold air, that can disrupt that balance pretty significantly in a kind of on the edge type of thermodynamic profile that we're dealing around these storms. So a lot of these storms that have these little thunderstorms nearby them, that's actually a good sign that we're seeing these pop up around our storms. That means they're going to interrupt tornado genesis pretty efficiently in this type of environment. And our wind shear isn't forecasted to really get up higher than 40 knots in this area. So we're not talking about a high shear low cape environment. We're talking about kind of a in the middle of the road shear lower cape environment, and then you get these little flies in the ointment. That could be it for the tornado threat tonight, at least for these more prefrontal cells. But we still gotta watch like these storms back over here, or like if any of these storms can clear out these mergers and get a small moment, kind of like that one near Vicksburg did earlier. If they can get a small moment where they can tap back into that instability, we can see them try again. So if you live out into western Mississippi, like Fayette, Port Gibson, Jackson, Ridgeland, Yazoo City, that's the kind of environment you're dealing with right now. That's what you got to watch out for first, especially down here near Jackson, Port Gibson, the threat for these prefrontals, and then maybe a little bit further north for like Ridgeland, Yazoo City, Canton over the next couple of hours. Could see some of these prefrontals work their way up to the north if they can clear out that environment a little bit efficiently. Then we could see maybe a double tornado threat with these prefrontals first, and then if our tornado threat evolves on our line of storms, you could see that come in second. So that's kind of what we're talking about out here in the short term. Further up to the north, our kinematics are just not that favorable. You know, talking about the wind shear, we do have a decent amount in the lower levels, which means we are going to have some spin in the atmosphere out here. But our wind shear is not like, if we were talking about 50 to 70 knots of wind shear, which we're not today, you know, we'd be still a little bit concerned about briefer tornadoes up here, given the fact that, you know, we don't really have too much instability, but that shear is just ripping. And sometimes it just doesn't matter. You get strong SRH into like 400 to 500. And believe it or not, if you have SRH in that level, it can add buoyancy to the atmosphere and kind of make up for the missing instability or the missing unstableness, the missing amounts of warmer air in the atmosphere. So we're not seeing that up here, so it should remain just showers. But again, we are expecting those winds out in front of this area to increase as we get something called gradient winds, which is basically just there's lower pressure back here, there's higher pressure up here, and because they're so close together, it kind of squeezes the winds in between them, kind of like a wind tunnel, and we could see 40 to 50 knots ahead of our line and along the leading edge. So and that's kind of what we're looking at in the long term, or the kind of the broad scale pattern. You know, we got a low pressure up here. It's interacting with the higher pressure off to the east. That is allowing for those gradient winds, which we will see not just in Tennessee, not just in Kentucky, not just in Indiana, but also in Ohio, potentially even getting up to 60-mile-per-hour winds like in this region here in northern Kentucky going into central Ohio. And those could last anywhere from an hour to 3 hours. So it could be not only windy, but also a little bit of a longer duration wind event. But again, not expecting too many widespread power outages, but some power outages, especially if you live in an area where, you know, if you lose power randomly, like during the day and nothing's happening, it's likely that those 40 to 50-mile-per-hour winds could have some decent power outage potential in your area. But, you know, that really doesn't show anything in terms of the caliber, the strength of the storm. It's really just how weak your electricity grid is, which unfortunately for quite a decent amount of folks in the United States is a problem. So those are the main impacts I think that we're going to be seeing, is those kind of crappy electrical grid power outage problems with those gradient winds. For everybody else, it's going to be loud. It's going to be kind of annoying. And if you're not used to 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, maybe a little scary, but I can promise you, you know, you're going to be fine. Just don't stand next to any trees that are about to fall down. Yeah, I am just nonstop talking. Yeah, no, you're right. It's not the day quill, it's the night quill. Yeah, my throat feels better, but I am also you know, a little bit sleep deprived and on NyQuil, so there is that. Now that I'm looking at chat, hopefully we don't get a little too much off a topic, but I just wanted to do like a brief overview for the folks listening in, to show you just how dynamic, and, you know, it's not just as simple as big storm, little storm, storm spin. Oh my God, look out. You know, there's all these little details that go into every storm that make it unique. It's like the storm's footprint. Can I send some storms to Stanley, Wisconsin? I mean, let me hit up my my friend in the weather manipulation sector of the government. I got you. Well, they did upgrade our formation chances of this little tropical low to 40% over the next 7 days. So there is that. Let's go check out this rolling forward camera. Video error. Oh man. All right. Well, that is annoying. It says stream status up, but it's not working. I wanted to see what that line of storms is going to look like. Let me check the HazCam website themselves. See if maybe it's like a weather-wise problem. No, it's just down altogether. Earring. I think the low's gonna get big in the Gulf. I could. I mean, there's just no model consistency on that thing. It's impossible for me to say anything other than, yeah, I mean, it could possibly form. Little update on a storm that did produce a tornado. Does seem like these mergers are really destroying that rotation. Just watch this. You see, the closer and closer this green to the south got to our storm, the more that shear got cut off. And also, the more that storm, lots of that unstable air that was out in front of it, and it just went poof. At least the rotation did. There's still a storm there, technically, that is producing thunder and lightning, which we can actually see on our frozen camera, our exclusive frozen camera. Oh, no, this is the best. This is the Mississippi camera. Am I feeling funky? Define funky. Ooh, I like these. These good cam. Looking to the north. Got cut off before it hit us. I'm thankful for that for you as well. It always is scary when you see that NATO warning pop up within a 50-mile radius of you, especially when it looks like the storm's coming your way. How's my trip? It was good till the end. We've talked about it a couple times, but short summary, I inhaled a part of small parts of an oyster shell, and it absolutely screwed up my my throat. I've been dealing with like the worst sore throat I've ever dealt with, and that is why I'm on NyQuil right now. Because I'm not sick per se, but because it like made it not only like it's probably a little bit infected, and so it's causing like a little stuffy nose as well. So I feel like I'm sick, although I don't have a fever. I just have little bits of oyster in my throat. I went to the beach, Destin, Florida. I'm gonna check in on our line here. Yeah, still generally some wind gusts on our line. One near Arcola, another one south of Hollandale as well. Let's come back over to here, check in on Texas, south of Shreve. Yeah, still warned for that ping pong ball sized hail. Heading towards into Gary City right now, heading towards Tanaha and eventually Logansport. And looks like we got some thunderstorm activity about to make it down into Shreveport on the backside of our frontal boundary. So don't be scared. It will not produce a tornado, but it can definitely produce some hail. Typically on the backside, inside of a cold pool, you have an elevated storm, and that added cold air nearer to the surface can help those hailstones build just a little bit more. Come on, tell me it's working. Hey, Rolling Fork is back in business. I think I can pull it up here. There we go. This is what it looks like in Rolling Fork. We have a line of storms approaching, and yeah, we'll see what this storm is all about. At least on the, I think, is it severe warned? Let me just double check. It is not severe warned, but it's definitely a pretty healthy line. Oops. There we go. is the storms heading towards Poplar Bluff, Missouri? I think we're almost done for Missouri. Not completely. Yeah, Poplar Bluff is done with the main threat for today. Could get some windy conditions on the backside of the storm, though. Where do I think the worst storms will be tonight? Most likely along this area. And in fact, they did just throw a severe thunderstorm warning on our storm here. Got 1 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds heading towards Anguilla, Rolling Fork, Silver City, and Belzoni. So this is actually a severe thunderstorm that we're looking at. Here on this camera. Why can't I see it? Oh, there we go. Actually, let me do something here. We'll do this. Okay, all of a sudden doesn't want to work. There we go. Bismarck, Arkansas. We can check that out. Illinois is just going to be those winds. It's going to be windy in Illinois for a good part of the tonight going into tomorrow morning. Maybe even into the afternoon on the backside of the storm as well. Someone said, check Arkansas. Really? Oh, back here? Yeah, these storms are not going to be tornadic. I'm not worried about them. They're behind. They're in a really bad environment. Yeah, the only reason why we would have to be worried about these prefrontal storms out here is if they can clear out some of these mergers and become more organized. I was worried about that storm near Vicksburg for a little bit because I thought it could, as long as it stayed discreet. But as you can see, it is eating up storms like crazy, and that is disrupting that storm's ability to really do anything right now. Also, Delhi, Louisiana is getting impacted by a storm right now. And yeah, it's the latest on our radar. Severe thunderstorm warning also back over here near Stigler, Oklahoma, with 1 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds moving down towards Whitefield and Stigler. So please continue to be indoors and away from windows there as well. That is the latest out there. Just watching to see if this line's going to really do anything. Let's come back over to our camera here. Hey, thank you, Atlanta, Florida girl, for the $10. I do appreciate that. Thank you for the updates tonight. Next time, visit Panama City Beach or Pensacola Beach. I visited Destin. I like Destin. Is this still working? What's going on with this? Is this broken? Oh my goodness. Come on, man. You're our only good camera. What's going on this camera? Why are people watching this? This is in Tennessee. There's an EMA camera in Tennessee. It has 19 people watching it. I'm trying to figure out why. Maybe it's because of this. Maybe people think this is like, maybe they're like, is that a UFO? Oh, did y'all see that? Distant lightning. Oh. 15-minute nearest strike to this camera is 61 miles away. So these storms are around 61 miles away from this camera. Tennesseans will wake up and watch a storm from 61 miles away. That is impressive. Yeah, very distant lightning. That's pretty cool. Is Rolling Fork back up? Yes, Rolling Fork appears to be back up. This is out of Rolling Fork, Mississippi. We have a severe thunderstorm warning with 60-mile-per-hour winds approaching this camera, and it froze again. All right. Let's go back and do a radar check. See what's going on. Yeah, over here, just north of Anguilla, still have some damaging winds. I'm not seeing any couplets up there. Let's come back over here to Epps, near Delhi. Not really seeing much there either. Good news. Good news all around. Also, good news little update out over here. Most of our severe thunderstorm warnings have been allowed to expire in Texas, but we still have some ping pong ball sized hail near Tanaha and Logansport. I'm feeling the NyQuil. Yes. Looks like we just had our severe thunderstorm warning extended here for Lake Providence. Also over there near Eagle Bend and Brunswick. It's also not just the NyQuil, guys. It's also sleep deprivation from lack of sleep with my throat issue. I really wish this camera would load. What's going on this camera? Greenwood, Mississippi. Oh, there's probably lightning on this camera. All right. Do y'all think if I used the Alabama Weather Network cameras, if James Spann would get mad at me? You think James Spann would copyright strike my channel? I gotta ask him. All right, let's see here. Someone asked about somewhere, North Holly Springs, Oklahoma. Let me see where that is. North Holly Springs. Oklahoma. Well, it's not popping up. Am I doing something wrong? North Holly Springs. Should wear suspender for the big days? I would. That would just be, you know, that's James's thing. I'm not like, that would just be me copying, you know. Just know if y'all see me with a sports jacket on, it's getting serious. I'm just kidding. For New Caney. Where's New Caney? New Caney, Texas. I mean, there's still some storms to your north, so I mean, you might still see some thunderstorms, but it won't be until later. And that is conditional on the storms actually developing that far to the south. Let's go ahead and move our Vicksburg camera a little bit. Actually, this is our furthest south. Let's face this to the south. It says switch to time lapse. Oh, never mind, that didn't work. We have a storm approaching Vicksburg from the south. We'll see if we can see some lightning from that. Nah, it's too late. I already took the NyQuil, and that's helping the throat a lot. Let me get chat up as well. I haven't gotten chat up. Maine's threat for Evansville. Let me check that out. Wind and this line of thunderstorms that's about to come through. Not seeing much of a tornado threat up here, or really much of a severe weather threat, but definitely some higher winds. Are you starting to feel those winds yet? They shouldn't start until later, according to the models, but you might feel it get a little bit windier, like 30 to 40 knots before this line comes through, and then maybe 50, 30 to 50 mile per hour winds possible with this line of storms. It's not severe, not really seeing much of a tornado threat, but some thunderstorms that might keep you up a little bit longer is possible. Okay, where is our rolling fort cam? Is it working? Seems to be working. And then it stops working. I think it's on a loop. This is in Greenwood, Mississippi. We are seeing lightning. This is just north of that severe thunderstorm warning. Oh, that's a nice lightning bolt. Let's go look for rotations. A little something here. Might be a little bit of contamination. It's kind of hard to tell, but it does kind of seem like some rotation. They're near Kyle? Seal? Hard to say. Exactly. Let me see. There's one camera over here is been frozen. I want to switch this one to a Mississippi camera as well. We'll bring this. Where do I want to bring this camera? Can I go north? Maybe. No, nothing in Yazoo. Yeah, Greenville's over there. Yeah, unfortunately, I guess our next traffic camera opportunity will come just west of Jackson. You can kind of see the lightning actually off in the distance. Oh, a fire happened. That's scary. Zaps in Greenwood. Yes, we can confirm there are zaps in Greenwood. Is Orlando going to be fine? I think so. I would be willing to guess yes. But it's not really more of a guess. It's science. Definitely science. All right, let's come back over to here. Just want to check in. They did allow this to be downgraded here near Tanaha to $half sized hail now. So we're not talking about ping pong ball sized hail, but $half sized hail near Timpson. You were supposed to be hit by a squall line earlier. Where are you from? Is Conway good for tonight? Let me see where Conway is. Yeah, you should be. Yeah. I mean, your tornado threat's 0. You know, we do have some storms kind of like firing back here, but they probably won't make it down to you. So yeah, you'll be good. Good to go. I'd get some sleep. If you got stuff you got to do tomorrow. Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Oh, look at this. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning back up here in Tennessee. Look at this. Near Whiteville in Jackson, Tennessee. 60 mile per hour winds. Should have some cameras out over there. Let's see if we can get a sneak peek of what this storm is doing. EMA camera in the area. Does not appear to be. Oh, it is working. Hold on. It takes a while for it to load. Thank you for being live tonight. Yeah, no problem. No problem. A little bit of a late stream here. Where's my music? Okay, it literally loaded, and now it's not loading. Okay, fun. Okay, I don't think I can use that one. Jeez Louise. What about this one? Are none of these cameras working? Wow. Okay. Never mind. But yeah, watch out over there near Whiteville and Jackson and Mercer. 60-mile-per-hour winds are coming into your area probably within the next 10 to 30 minutes out there. So just make sure you guys are indoors and away from windows. Is it working for y'all? McDonald's Wi-Fi? What? Who said that? Those help. I timed him out for a whopping 10 seconds. Is Antioch, Tennessee going to get hit? Let me see where Antioch is. Eventually, yeah, we are expecting a line of storms to come through eventually, and also those gradient winds to pick up probably within the next 2 to 3 hours. Maybe even, yeah, it could be a little bit before or a little bit after that. But you can see that this line extends really all the way from Illinois, about to be into Indiana, down into Kentucky, Tennessee, going into Mississippi, and then also into Louisiana as well. It's another live look. Wait, where did my live look go? There it is. At Greenwood. Should be a lot of lightning around here, but not really seeing that. Rolling fork camera is still not working. Yeah. Not too electrically active, even though the radar says it should be. Still a little area of interest over here near Murphy. Still a little area there of some potential rotation just to the west of Gooden Lake. Still moving off to the east towards Silver City and Belzoni. Keeping a close eye on that storm for now. It's got a little kink in the line. Definitely getting a little bit of a cold pull surge here. Orientation is not quite favorable for a tornado. Typically, this would need to be a little bit more, instead of the red-green line being like this, typically more like this is better. So the orientation isn't great, but it is something to keep an eye on. How's Upper Illinois looking? Looking pretty good. A lot of rain. There is some like scattered thunderstorms from like Clinton down into northern Missouri that'll eventually move into the northern Illinois area, but I'm not really expecting anything dangerous out of those. Hernando? Let me see. You're in a severe thunderstorm watch. Yeah, it looks like your threat is passed. You're good to go. Oops. Since these cameras should be up. Let me do a little refresher here on Radar Mega. There we go. So that's what we needed. Let's see if we can see anything. Oh, it's stopping. Oh my goodness. Why must it be so difficult? Here's this one. This one a little bit further north. But actual live view here from Tennessee with our severe thunderstorm moving in. You can see that flag on the bottom. Actually, you can't see it because it's covered up. But there is wind. The flag is making it look like it's windy. Can I show that somehow? Yeah, you can see that flag on the very bottom there. So my stream looks like naked, by the way, without the overlay on top. Yeah, there's the flag on the bottom. Definitely windy. And look at that, a little lightning bolt. Thank you, Dreambird, for the 2 month. I'm being a member for 2 months. Thank you for supporting me for 2 whole months. You're a da bomb. Hey, Mark. This is in Tennessee, near Jackson, Tennessee. That might be a shelf cloud back there. We just need the right lightning strike. It kind of looks like there's some shelf action. Not best to look at these storms during the nighttime, I will admit. What's it looking like from Humboldt? Yeah, that was the one we were looking at there. Let's see what it looks like inside of the storm. Oh yeah, look at that. A lot of rain there. No tornado in Indiana. But we'll go check up. Just to ease your mind. As you can see in Indiana, there's a lot of light rain. And that's it. That's all we're expecting. It might get a little bit more dicey like near Evansville and Mount Vernon, but we are not expecting tornadic activity that far to the north. Is USA good tonight? They're trying to be. They are trying to be good. We had a tornado not too long ago. We've had 2 tornadoes, at least confirmed tornadoes, potentially up to 4. So yeah, no like big reports yet of like major damage or anything like that, but we are still keeping an eye on that potential. Sorry, keeping an eye on that potential out there for the folks down here in Mississippi. I do still think there is going to be the chance for some QLCS tornadoes down here as this pushes from Louisiana into Mississippi, and we're seeing if that's going to develop or not. Threat ends for central Mississippi. Like for like Jackson over there near Winona, after this line passes through here, this one that's going south of Indianola and just to the west of Vicksburg. West LA. Yeah, West Louisiana is, still some more thunderstorms coming, but your tornado risk is 0. Could get some hail and some thunderstorms still, though. Especially over there near like Shreveport, Coushatta, Natchitoches. Northeast Tennessee is mainly going to be those gradient winds. Potentially, I mean, you can still get a little line of thunderstorms, depending on how east you are in Tennessee. But we're mainly talking about just, 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts that could last for about an hour. All right, let's go over that again for the folks that are just now tuning in. We'll go over to the models. So we are expecting gradient winds out in front of our storm here. This is our latest 0Z model run. You see, we are going to be getting windy overnight into the morning hours over here in Iowa and into Missouri. But check this out. Along our line and out in front of our line, we could have anywhere from 30 to 40, maybe even some isolated areas of 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts here in Tennessee, going into Kentucky, also into central Tennessee. Might be the worst, though, over there into Indiana. Look at that, near Indianapolis, anywhere from 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts out in front of our storm. Those are those gradient winds really packing a punch up there. Might even see some elevated power outages up there. That's a little bit of an escalation in comparison to some of our earlier model runs. They were not this strong. So, but yeah, for like Central Tennessee, by 1 a.m. so should be feeling those gradient winds. And then by tomorrow, by 4 a.m., we're going to see those move more into Eastern Tennessee, also Eastern Kentucky, Western Ohio. And then as we go into the afternoon hours, we can still see some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts all the way from Eastern Tennessee still up into Ohio, and then maybe even some more damaging winds, or not really damaging winds, but some more windy conditions of around 30 to 40 mile per hour winds after this line comes through on the backside of the low pressure into portions of Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, going into Tennessee. So that's what we're looking at least for the future of the wind. I think for a lot of folks in the Ohio Valley, that's going to be your main threat out of this storm. And there will still be some thunderstorms associated with that. But some of them might be severe, some of them might not. Hey, thank you, Mark, for becoming a WIMD member. Thank you so much. No problem, Carrie. No problem. Thanks for asking. Still a little area of suspicion over here, just to the south and west of Belzoni.
Has been issued for this location.
New MCD. So we got a new mesoscale discussion, which means the let me see if I can get a new graphic on that. Hold on. That does mean that the SPC has got something to say. They need the room. Apparently, we have had a 49 mile per hour wind gust reported at Stuttgart Municipal Airport in Arkansas. That was 2 hours ago. Also, some tornado damage out of Hot Springs County, Arkansas. This was the first tornado of the day. We're actually getting some pictures in. This is from Brian Elmfinger. And yeah, a lot of tree damage. You're going to want to see that post. Lots of trees down there. Not seeing too much structural damage. It does seem like it was on the weaker side. Kind of like how we hypothesized. It was enough to knock over some trees. But the well-built houses survived. A couple holes in the roofs probably was pretty scary. But I'm hoping that no one got injured. It looks like that could be a possibility. In the storms. Evansville's about to get a storm. Don't worry. It's about probably about an hour from you. It could be about to get some windy. About to get windy out there. About to get some wind. Let's go check out these storms in Tennessee again. See if we can't see something. You feel crappy? I do feel crappy, but a little bit better now that I'm on NyQuil. But the more I talk, the more it gets irritated. So I'm hoping this doesn't have to be an extremely long live stream, but I do want to wait a little bit longer just to make sure that QLCS potential doesn't like go crazy. Because it is technically possible that we could get something called QLCS tornado spam in Mississippi. And that is when you get multiple small and brief tornadoes happen in a short period of time. Now, decent amount of lightning on this camera here. Let's come check other cameras. Want to see if we could see any shelf clouds. There's something popping up on this camera. With all of the city light from here, we might actually see a shelf cloud if there is one. Thank you, Dr. L, for subscribing. Do you see any L's you need to prescribe in chat? Dr. L? Anybody with chronic L syndrome? Other than help, we already know he suffers from that. Hey, thank you, Oren Wilson, for being a member for 5 months. Thank you for supporting this channel for 5 months straight. And also thank you, Tornado Alley Deb, for supporting this channel for 6 months straight. That is huge support. Thank you. I think we might be able to see a shelf cloud from this, if there is one on this storm. Check some other cameras just to make sure we don't got like a better view. But that one is promising. This is closer to the inside of our storm here in Tennessee. Yeah, I think this is gonna be our best bet. Oh yeah, there is one. There is a shelf cloud. You got chronic L syndrome? I'm sorry to hear that. We'll be praying for you. We'll be hoping and praying for you. Yeah, just a wind threat right now, Ashley. Come on, give us one more bolt. We want to see that shelf cloud again. It's on the right side of the screen, like right in here. You can see it kind of every time. Yeah, they kind of see, you kind of saw it in that lightning strike there. I missed your 1 year. Well, thank you for supporting the channel for 1 year, Links. Sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't. And thank you, Sup Girl, for being a member for 15 months. My goodness. Nah, no problem. That's a lot of support. That's 15 months of support, guys. As an EF1 member, that's over $100.
A new MCD has been issued for this location.
All right, looks like we're getting some new MCDs. So let's hop over to here. See what they're talking about. This is that first one we got. This is the Storm Prediction Center saying, hey, we need to have a talk. They're saying wind potential is still there. Severe weather threat continues for Jackson, Tennessee. Peak wind intensity could be up to 70 miles per hour, and there is still a tiny and brief tornado threat. But that is the latest. Let's come back over here to our radar and just check. Yeah, still a broad area of circulation over Silver City. Still not quite oriented in the right way for me to be overly concerned about a tornado threat. Broad circulation right now, about to head into Silver City. So I am still technically keeping an eye on that. Also, a little push of wind down over here near Cary, Mississippi, oriented a little bit more horizontal there. So that's a little bit better orientation on that one. So might need to keep an eye for a little QLCS tornado threat there. And also another surge of wind back down in this area north of Brunswick, Mississippi as well. Just had this severe thunderstorm warning extended now into Sartartia and Holly Bluff. Guys need to be watching out for that. Little broad scale view here for the folks that are outside of our main region. Is far southwest Mississippi, Natchez area, far enough south to avoid tornado threat tonight? Yeah, most likely. Like if you're like over there near the coast, yeah. It's in the Natchez area though. Let me check. I think Natchez. No, you guys are in the tornado threat still, but it seems to be going to your north. There's going to be a crashing cold front eventually, and that will end your tornado threat. You know, the only real thing I'm watching out for Natchez is if we get any storms to fire and sustain over here and then move into the Natchez. But you can see we kind of had that try to happen, but the storms failed to do so. So could still have some thunderstorms eventually from this backup line of storms. Ah, it's not moving. Right. Thanks for letting me know. There we go. Sorry. Apologize. Near Cary, Mississippi. I think I just called that out. Let me double check. Yeah. Let me see. Is that the one we were talking about just moments ago? Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, I do think, yeah. This one's also, oriented a little bit better than the one up to the north. You could definitely call that a small couplet. I'm not seeing a debris ball yet, but does seem like we are starting to see like some pushes here, some cold pool pushes on our storm right now, which would indicate that our QLCS threat might be getting a little bit more serious here. Yeah, there's a nice little area of untapped instability as well that is streaming into this portion of the storm. It's in about 30 to 35 knots of shear. So that QLCS tornado threat might be about to get started. We'll see. Keep a close eye on that, especially if you live over there near Belzoni, Yazoo City, Canton, Ridgeland, maybe down the line as well. Nakatish. Yeah, that's how it's pronounced. Yeah, you're talking about this guy. Yeah, it's very broad circulation. And it's really not oriented in the right way. It seems a little bit on the contaminated side of things, but there probably is rotation in there. It's just most likely on the broader side of things. The rolling fork camera working? No. Well, Mississippi, Chunky, Mississippi? Is that really a... No way. Hey, Chunky. Chunky. Oh my gosh. It's real. Probably not much of a tornado threat, but probably like a small end tornado threat is possible there. Yeah, latest update here. Still mainly just a big old gust of wind. Not much of a couplet there still, but definitely still keeping an eye on that area. It does seem like this storm is struggling at the moment to like try to produce anything, thankfully. I'm not sure how long that's going to last. I do want to see why these cameras are frozen. North Mississippi? No. I'd say most of our threat is like in central Mississippi for like a QLCS type tornadoes. We got that storm approaching some of our camps. Let's go double check back in with that. Should be pretty close to that shelf cloud now. Oh yeah, look at that. This is the storm that's moving into Jackson, Tennessee right now, with the potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and you can see the leading edge of that thunderstorm. A decent amount of lightning in there. Near Dublin, Ireland, this rain is some of the most intense we've had in a bit. Winds 50 to 60 mile per hour. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty rare to happen in Ireland. And this storm would probably look pretty cool during the daytime. Let me just check our other cameras to make sure this is the best view we've got. We got this one that's like right next to the leading edge now. That rain is starting to increase. Got another one over here near Humboldt. That's the one we were looking at. What does this one a little bit further away look like? I don't think it's facing the right way. Heavy rain and wind in Yazoo. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, other than like the spin up tornado threat down there, like the storm shouldn't be like super intense, but you'll definitely feel it for sure. Also could maybe cause some power outages. Yeah, that's this storm over here about to head into Jackson, Mississippi, with some 60-mile-per-hour winds. Little couple notches actually in our line here. One even over here near Bolivar, which is pretty interesting. Might have to keep an eye on that, believe it or not. Back down here, mainly still a damaging wind threat, so that hasn't changed. It seems like our threat is struggling a little bit. Yeah, we just got a new mesoscale outlook for the area, though. I mean, we still have 1,000 joules per kilogram there in Mississippi. Oh, lower level lapse rates are diving off a cliff, though. That might be it. I mean, you could still maybe get a couple brief tornadoes, but lower level lapse rates being that low is a good sign, especially in the southeast. Storms really do struggle to produce unless we have like a ridiculously high shear environment, which we're not really expecting tonight. Let me check our storm relativity. Yeah, we're only about 100, so that's a good sign. Thermodynamically, that is really helpful for the folks that live out here. 1,000 is enough, yes, but low level lapse rates like that usually keeps the storms a little bit too shallow and a little bit too weak to really tap into a shear environment, and it really favors an outflow dominant type storm mode. But you know, 1,000 joules per kilogram is technically enough to sustain severe weather, which we are seeing, but it's going to be harder, a lot harder for these storms to produce a tornado. A little interesting thing popping up here. I don't think that's anything, but are seeing some kinks in the line up here, which is pretty interesting. There's a little area of like 500 joules per kilogram there. All right, let's go back and check in on that camera. Thank you, Dylan and Sweet Cat, for subscribing. Today is your birthday. Well, happy birthday. Hopefully, yeah, You had a good birthday so far. So it looks like that rain is starting to increase in intensity here just outside of Jackson, Tennessee. Western Kentucky, you guys are going to get this line of storms that's coming through right now. This is the main show. So if you live like over here near Madisonville, Princeton, Hopkinsville, you're going to be getting a line of storms. Not really expecting much of a tornado threat. It's technically not 0% though. So I would keep an eye on that small chance. I wouldn't freak out about it though, because it's an extremely small chance up there. Oh, wow. Quite the wind gust here south of Holly Bluff. So right there near Patmos. Gotta watch for these little pushes, these little surges here of the cold pool. That's how we're gonna get a spin up tornado in this environment. Still technically possible, but again, this lapse rate's being so low, it's gonna be a lot harder for these storms to produce tornadoes. So what I'm hoping is that we go from more than maybe a couple of tornadoes expected to maybe only like one or two, due to those lapse rates dropping so far down. Tornado threat, I would say, is the highest down here, or like out in this area here. If we were to get another tornado warning, it would likely be there. Maybe could get a surprise from like these storms up here, because we are seeing some kinks in the line, but not anything super organized yet. Seems to be mostly outflow dominant, but some of these storms do have a little bit of rotation on them as they're going into Jackson, but nothing like that's sticking out to me as that like anything that you guys should be like super concerned about. What happened here? Why is this stopped? And which one do I need to have? That's there. So that's that one. We go a little bit closer to Jackson. Oh, that's a good camera. Oops. Wisconsin's gonna be fine. Huntsville, Alabama will be in a little bit from now. Our main threat is honestly just going to be these, gradient winds, but there could be a line of storms by 4 a.m. You see, we could have anywhere from, 40 to 50 mile per hour winds possible. Gusts, not sustained. So it'll be like brief nonetheless, but still maybe enough to wake you up. I wouldn't be like concerned. Our tornado threat's pretty darn low, if not impossible up here. Okay, no problem, Amanda. No problem. A little bit of a weird signal out of this guy here near Campbellville. Maybe a little tight couplet developing there. It's kind of hard to tell whether that's contamination or not, but that could be pretty close to producing if that is a legitimate signal. Kind of doubtful giving its orientation, but let's see what the next scan looks like. I would be very aware of that in Campbellville. If you hear train noises, definitely get to your safe spot pronto. You're in Jackson. Is it concerning? Concerning enough to not be outside. Line of storms could be packing up to 60 mile per hour winds. Not really super concerned about a tornado threat, especially for Jackson. I'm not really seeing any kinks or anything like that near there. But yeah, I'd be keeping your eye on this. And then further down the line, it would be like Huntington, Tennessee. Selmer, isn't Selmer near? Let me see where Selmer is. Selmer. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing that I just said for Jackson, except maybe a little bit less wind, given the fact that our stronger storms seem to be north of you. We got a wind advisory in Ohio. Yeah, that's because of those gradient winds that are going to be coming through later. And you guys could have pretty high winds, depending on where you live in Ohio, for a pretty decent amount of time. I see anything in this red, kind of like darkish, like gray going into like this weird red color. That is going to be, you know, 50 to or 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. So you're gonna have those pretty windy conditions for almost, you know, starting at like 1 a.m. Going all the way into like 8 a.m. And that's gonna be hitting a lot of Ohio there, almost the entire state. And then you could have even more winds eventually working on the back side of this storm. It won't be as probably won't be as intense as the front, but I mean, it's kind of hard to tell the difference between, you know, 30 or 40 mile per hour winds. It's gonna be windy, gonna be a little bit annoying, especially if you wear hats or like golfing. Do I think these systems will be weak as they move east? In Meridian. Where's Meridian? Yeah, it just depends on how far south this line really consolidates. If it kind of stays how it is, probably going to be remaining pretty weak for you guys. Most of our severe weather is north of Meridian. We do have some storms kind of fire down here. If those can get a little bit more consolidated, you still could get some severe weather, but man, this is still looking a little bit concerning over here near Holly Bluff. Still mainly looks like mainly a wind gust, but we are still getting these little errant little red pixels near blue tip pixels. Not seeing a debris ball, so I'm not like overly concerned that that is a legitimate signal, but I'm still keeping a close eye on this. If you live over there in Limerick Valley and Krupp, I would be continuing to monitor the situation on that little couplet there, or that velocity signature. Dallas is good. You guys have been good. The storms in Tennessee are going to stay, you know, near severe limits the entire time they're in Tennessee. So I would expect anywhere from like 40 to 60 mile per hour winds. You love your hats? Yeah, watch your hats. Hold on to your hats. I have family a little bit north of Nashville. Kind of the same thing I've been saying. Generally across the board, it's all the same for Tennessee. We're gonna have this line of storms that's moving through like Jackson and Huntington right now. That's gonna be moving through the entire state. It won't be as intense, the line at least, as it goes into eastern Tennessee. But generally, we are gonna have these gradient winds that form out in front, which are going to bring, you know, some, you know, a wide area across all of Tennessee, the remainder of Tennessee, a good wide area of 30 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. And that will be, you know, out in front and along the line. So, you know, I would, you know, keep that in mind. Again, probably won't lose power unless you're in one of those shaky electrical grid areas. Are you good to go to sleep in Nashville? Yeah, absolutely. Get some sleep. Is tomorrow going to be tornado? Maybe in like New Jersey, near like Connecticut, could see some last minute tornadic activity. Well, like for Canton, let me refresh my memory. I think Canton's, no, I was wrong. Let me see where Canton is. Canton, Mississippi is just north of Jackson. So yeah, you guys are in that area where I'm still heavily monitoring for tornado threat here in the short term. We're watching to see if this QLCS tornado threat is going to get going. We do still have some broad couplets down here that are trying to organize. If they can, we could get a couple tornadoes down here still. The one thing that's in our favor is our lapse rates are low, which just means the ground is a little bit too cold. But it's not technically impossible to get a tornado. So we're watching that possibility, and you should too. It's really the only area that I think I'm still thinking that at least that's definitely the area where our highest tornado risk is at the moment. And that's on Enderlin. Inconsistency. I'm a man of logic and consistency. So I think it's a little weird that, you know, a lot of the times, like there have been EF4s in the past, you know, since 2013, where they said that like this DI, this damage indicator in this city could have been an EF5 indicator, but it's just one area. So we couldn't really tell if it was like an impact or not, you know, that caused it. And so, you know, to use one damage DI to turn the Enderlin tornado into an EF5, I think that's fine. In my opinion, I think it's fine. You know, if it hits the wind speeds, it hits the wind speeds. You can't assume or not assume that, you know, something impacted that area unless you know, have proof either way. And so, you know, to the best of our abilities, I think one DI should be able to be used. And, you know, I think they should get consistent on doing that instead of being so inconsistent about how they rate tornadoes. But again, you know, they rate tornadoes based on the NWS, the National Weather Services, in different locations. And although they try to keep the same standard, I mean, as we've seen before with tornado warnings or just how they issue their watches or severe thunderstorm watches, and every area is a little bit different. So those are my thoughts. Indiana, it's going to get windy in Indiana. Pretty darn windy, according to our latest HRRR run. Over there near Bloomington, near Indianapolis, going up towards like Fort Wayne, could see anywhere from 40 to 60 mile per hour winds. So there could actually be power outages, like a little bit more widespread than like what you would get in like Kentucky or Tennessee, there in eastern to northeastern Indiana. Not really talking about much of a tornado threat. A lot of those winds aren't going to be associated with the thunderstorms themselves. They're going to be out in front of the thunderstorms as we get something that we call gradient winds. So yeah, watch out for that. Should be getting started actually over there near Princeton and Jasper within the next hour or so. I think Greenfield should have been an EF5. I don't know. There's like, I'm not like an engineer, so I couldn't really tell you one way or the other. But you know, I do feel like, you know, there have been other tornadoes that have a couple DIs that are in question, and some engineers have some opinions, some engineers have other opinions, and it's just kind of inconsistent. You know, it would be nice if we could use the Dow data. I mean, if you just look at the Dow data on the Greenfield, you know, that's kind of a knockout, you know, knocked out of the park, EF5, no questions. So, you know, science usually progresses when you get new tools, but if you don't use the new tools, then science doesn't progress. So, you know, the Dow is a great tool. It's, you know, probes are a great tool. It'd be cool if we could like get more funding so the NWS could like create their own probes that they scientifically say are good and reliable, so that chasers can put those probes in front of the tornadoes, and then when we get that wind data, they can use that directly as the rating of the tornado or the strength of the tornado. Because then, you know, because like as of right now, you could get a storm chaser with the probe that they built at home, but they don't trust it because it was a home built system. And, you know, then you get into all the weeds on that. But, you know, we would need more funding for that. And we just don't have that. All right, latest scan down here. Still watching these little broad areas of rotation here. They are still trying to get going. And again, this is pretty close to Yazoo City. Looks like this one might go south of Yazoo City, but it's going to be a close approach. I would still be keeping your eye on this storm. I haven't really seen it be able to get its act together just yet, but it is trying to wrap up here on our latest scan. Still a little bit on the weaker side of that rotation, though. Back over here in Tennessee, our line is now approaching Huntington. Let's go see if we have a new view of that. Don't think I can use this camera, no. This is a camera near Jackson. Mayfield should have been an EF5. There's a lot of people that make that argument. Oh, wow. Look at that lightning bolt. And there are some people that say the rolling fork should be an EF5. You know, that's the thing. Like when you look at it from a engineer's perspective, you get a lot of different opinions. It's still hard to determine the ratings. So out of the danger zone, probably not for a little bit. You're gonna have those winds, and it really just depends. Like if you live in a higher elevation, like I want to look at this model run here. So one thing I especially for like Eastern Tennessee and Eastern Kentucky, one thing I do want to stress is that these winds will be higher if you are higher in elevation as they come through. They will be stronger than what they're showing here. So if you live in a higher elevation, you know, I would assume like 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and also, you know, a higher chance for power outages if you live higher in elevation. If you're like, 600 feet or so above sea level, you know, you're going to see a higher wind amount than that. Again, you know, it's not going to be like a life-changing event. You're probably going to forget about it the next day. But for some folks, you will remember it. It just depends. It really just depends on how your infrastructure is. If it's a weak infrastructure, you will likely lose power, especially if you live in a higher, like over here, like near Eastern Kentucky. I know for a fact that there's a lot of crappy electric infrastructure out here. So, especially in some of these higher elevation areas.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
All right, new tornado warning has been issued for our storm that we've been monitoring for a little bit here near Yazoo City. Got an area of rotation starting to tighten up a little bit, approaching Yazoo City. So if you live in Yazoo City, Eden, Benton, Pickens, Goodman, Durant, and Lexington, you guys need to be in your safe spots. That is the lowest, most interior room of your house, as many walls in between you and the outside as humanly possible. A tornado shelter or a basement that is underground. If you live in an RV trailer or mobile home, you need to be evacuating immediately and seeking sturdier shelter. Let me see if we've got any cameras near Yazoo City. I don't think we do. Yeah, not there. Not on that. Yeah, we have no cameras near Yazoo City. Check radar Omega just to be sure. Nope. We're blind. At least camera wise. But yeah, I wouldn't say it is tight, strong rotation yet, but we definitely have some stronger broad rotation here. See, our reds are starting to increase in intensity. They're getting a little bit brighter on this side and also a little bit brighter on this side, but we still have these little bit, you see how these reds down here where this line is a little bit more faded. That means our rotation is a little bit broad, but if that tightens up, could definitely get a tornado out of this storm. So again, if you live in Yazoo City, Yazoo Junction, Norway, Renshaw, Zalira, all need to be in their safe spots as this pushes off to the east. You guys are in the immediate threat of this storm. Voice sounds raspy. Yeah, it's giving out on me because of that freaking oyster crap. It's all good though. Nothing we haven't dealt with before. Also, a little update over here near Huntington. 60 mile per hour winds are about to come through your guys' area. So make sure you guys are indoors and away from windows. Why is it so long? Probably because of the speed of the storm. Yeah, the storm's moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. So that's why it's that long. Man, this thing is dangerously close to Yazoo City, though. Let me just make sure I can't find the camera. Yeah, I'm not finding a camera in Yazoo City. Latest scan do have still a area of rotation, still pretty decent on this side and pretty decent on this side. Still a little bit broad in between. It kind of is doing something pretty similar to what we saw this storm do, which is it got pretty close, or at least had a weird velocity signature, was a little bit broad, and that one up there to the north is definitely broadened out quite significantly. So we might be seeing a little mezzo convective system trying to develop on this storm down here, and that might be giving us a signal here for some rotation. But as of right now, it is pretty broad. Not seeing a debris signature, but I still want Yazoo City to be in their safe spots, because if that tightens up just a little bit, we're gonna have some issues here, folks. We do have enough shear. Just a quick reminder, we do have enough shear to support a strong tornado. It's technically not out of the realm of possibilities, but thankfully our lapse rates are a little bit low, so I'm hoping that keeps the intensity of this, if it does produce, a little bit lower. But bottom line is, still seeing enough rotation for folks to still be sheltered in place. Again, we are dealing with a tornado warning here in central Mississippi, and this rotation is now entering into Yazoo City as we speak. Folks need to be sheltered in place in their safe spots, which again is the lowest, most interior portion of your house, with as many walls in between you and the outside as humanly possible. A tornado shelter or a basement that is underground. If you are, in a trailer home, oh my gosh, debris ball. This is on the ground. Tornado on the ground in Yazoo City. That's going to go into South Yazoo City. You guys need to be in your safe spots. We have now got a tornado on the ground in Mississippi. Then it is right just to the south of Yazoo City. You guys need to be in your safe spots. It is just south of Yazoo Lumber and Mats. Just to the south of Yazoo Lumber and Mats. This is a tornado on the ground about to move into southern Yazoo City near Oaks. That is not good. It is a little bit displaced, but that is very convincing. Very convincing debris signature. Yeah, that's got to be a tornado. So yeah, if you live in Yazoo City, near Oaks, African American Culture Museum, Best Western, Save a Lot, Glenwood Cemetery, you guys need to be in your safe spots. We have a debris signature on our storm right now, indicating that we have a tornado in progress moving into the Yazoo City area. So please be in your safe spots. Let me check, see how tall this is. It's not really that tall. It's a very shallow debris signature. So hopefully that's an indication that this is a weak tornado. I will note this is a little bit displaced from our velocity signature, but that is a very Very convincing. Yeah, that had to have been a tornado there. And it's still likely on the ground here. Still likely on the ground. Moving over Highway 16 or Route 16 near Bus Station Drive and I-49 there, just south of Save-A-Lot. Here in southern Yazoo City, crossing over 49. You guys need to be, please continue to be sheltered in place. This is a tornado that is still in progress, moving off to the east towards Woodlawn, Pierce Crossroad, Midway, and Evans here in Mississippi. This is not good. I hope folks are getting the word. Yeah, there's definitely still a debris ball here, no doubt. Yeah, there it is. It is confirmed.
This tornado warning has been upgraded.
There you go. Our tornado warning has been upgraded. This is officially a confirmed tornado from the NWS. We already knew that here, but it's always good to have an official confirmation as well from the NWS. It is officially an observed tornado. Again, if you live in Yazoo City, Benton, Midway, you guys still need to be in your safe spots. Our tornado is still in progress here south of Yazoo City, and another couplet is developing off to its east. We could get another tornado, potentially even stronger than this one that just happened, develop off to its east. So again, be continuing to be in your safe spots here near Woodlawn, Pierce Crossroads, also over there near Midway and south of Eden as well. Again, this is a tornado that is on the ground. This blue here is debris getting lofted into the air south of Yazoo City. So it's hitting trees, it's hitting houses, it's lofting up in the air. That is what this radar is seeing as of right now. Our latest correlation coefficient scan still indicates that we might have a tornado in progress. It's not as strong of a signal, so I can't say for 100% certain anymore, but there's definitely is still debris either being lofted up or falling out of the sky near Save-A-Lot. It's just south of the Best Western near Save-A-Lot. Unfortunately, heading into Old Benton Road near Harrison Lane, Rogers Road as well. All of you guys need to be continuing to be in your safe spots. This is coming over you right now. Next in line is going to be Woodlawn. You guys still need to be in your safe spots. There's that velocity couplet right there of that tornado. Still enough, in my opinion, to support this being on the ground. And then back over here near Woodlawn, you guys are going to be next in line. It does seem like this storm might have just got undercut, though, by an outflow boundary. You can see our outflow is surging out ahead of our tornado in progress. I'm hoping by our next couple of scans, we will see at the very least this couplet go away and our tornado lift as that outflow boundary undercuts it. But I'm still monitoring a little area of rotation on the leading edge of that outflow, so we could get another tornado form here. So again, do not let your guard down on this storm. It has just produced a tornado, likely still is on the ground as we are speaking, as we do still have a debris ball indication. So just continue to be in your safe spots. Again, that's the lowest, most interior room with as many walls between you and the outside as humanly possible, a tornado shelter or a basement that is underground. If you live in an RV, mobile home, or trailer, you need to be evacuating immediately and seeking sturdier shelter. Again, this is not just like your typical tornado warning. This thing actually has a tornado on the ground. We've seen the debris on radar. Still waiting on that latest scan to come in. We still haven't gotten it. This is not good. That's a pretty populated area there south of Yazoo City. I really hope everybody's okay. That is, I wouldn't say worst case scenario given the fact that this doesn't appear to be like a super strong tornado, but still, you know, tornadoes hitting any populated area, it can get dangerous quick. So hopefully we were able to get the word out, at least to the people watching here, good enough to where they were in their shelter. No, we're not talking about Tennessee. We're talking about Mississippi. We do have storms in Tennessee over here near Huntingdon with 60-mile-per-hour winds, but our focus is down here as we do have had a tornado on the ground. It looks like they did. It says radar indicated, so it looks like they might have just downgraded this tornado. warning. And yeah, our latest scan shows why. It does seem like that outflow boundary did undercut our circulation, and we are no longer seeing a debris signature anymore. But there still is some rotation in both of these portions of the storm. I don't want people to let their guard down just because this is not a confirmed tornado. It looks like it has lifted, but I do want you guys to still be remaining in your safe spots there in Lexington, Goodman, Pickens, and Durant, given the fact that this thing just produced a tornado and could easily produce another tornado again. So again, the tornado has lifted, folks, but I do want you to stay in your safe spots. Again, do not let your guard down out there in Lexington, Goodman, and Durant. The good news is I'm not seeing any super strong areas of rotation right now. We're not seeing any debris balls. So, you know, the storm is definitely more disorganized than it was just moments ago. I'm really hoping what's happened here is that this outflow will just continue to undercut all of our circulations, and this storm will kind of turn into what happened further up to the north, where we had the outflow undercut that circulation, and now it's just a big, broad, non-threatening area of rotation. Although I will say a little something there near Lebanon. Might be getting a little bit of an increase here of our lower level shear. Let me just check. I mean, checking mesoscale analysis isn't probably going to give us exact. I mean, it's around 35 knots of lower level shear. Definitely enough to support a couple tornadoes if we continue to be in this environment. We'll see. Let me see if I can see any news about Yazoo City. And we'll listen to scanners. Let me get a scanner up in that area. Basically, will be giving us what? Yazoo County fire. We'll see if we hear anything. That little weird noise that's coming from the scanner. But I'm going to leave it on just in case we get any reports of damage or injuries from there. Yeah, latest scan, that's looking a lot better. Looking a lot better. Not as much rotation there anymore on this storm, but we're still monitoring for the potential of this thing to, you know, try to wrap up again. But that's a good sign. That does indicate that our outflow is really undercutting the inflow of our storm now. I'm listening on Broadcastify. It is past Yazoo. Yazoo City can come out of their safe spots, but if you have any friends or family that live in South Yazoo City, I would definitely check in on them, as a tornado definitely touched down here, and they could need some medical help. Sometimes people can get overwhelmed, and it helps to have a team helping them. So I would definitely give them a call and see if they need you to do anything for them if they did get hit. How long am I expecting to be live? Probably not much longer. It really just depends on what this storm. I mean, if this storm gets undercut, that's going to be it for tonight. Maybe could make an argument for this guy later in the day, but our thermodynamics are hanging on by a thread. We really don't have much longer. But if I were to assume a tornado threat could happen there, but you know, it's getting late. It's almost 10 p.m. So that's when I go to bed. I'll stay up if it still looks like there's like a really pressing tornado threat, but if it just fizzles, then I'm gonna get off. Just depends. Yeah, I mean, I'm not hearing any updates from the scanner. Let me check news. Could recycle? It could recycle help, yeah. Really just depends. Blondie, that's not a hook echo over there. It's just a little appendage of that storm. If you just tuned in, we just had a tornado go through South Yazoo City. It has since fallen apart. Outflow has undercut our storm quite significantly. You could technically try to make an argument of a recycle. If that were to happen, it'd probably be up here near Pierce Crossroads, near Zieglerville and Ebenezer. So still keeping an eye on that area of our storm. But as you can see, the outflow has surged out in front of that last tornadic circulation. Yeah, I was reading that, Blondie, on X. Yeah, latest scan looks good. It's like this storm is really falling apart. It's kind of doing what this one did. You're really starting to see that broad circulation develop here. We'll keep an eye on it for sure. But I can see them allowing this tornado warning to expire, at least in the short term. Do have some storms coming into Nona and Grenada. I also do have a camera over here. Let me check north of Jackson just to see how far those cameras go up to the north. We might be able to sneak a preview of the storm. I just don't know how far north. It goes up to Canton. It's just to the south. There's a north camera from here. So we might be able to see the lightning from this storm. Tennessee will be fine. The main thing I'm worried about for Tennessee is some wind that could become damaging, especially for like higher elevations. The lower elevations, though, unless your infrastructure is just absolutely terrible, you probably low chance of losing power. But it will be windy. Yeah, this is the view from just south of our tornado warned storm, looking up to the north from Canton. Trying to see if we can see any lightning back in there. Maybe see part of the storm here. Oh, yeah. There you go. There's some lightning. You saw the storm right there. That's the tornado warned storm off in the distance. Still trying to get more information on Yazoo City. All right, so got a new update on our tornado warning. Yazoo City is out of it, but Goodman, Durant, Pickens still in this tornado warning. Not seeing any areas. Maybe a new area of broader circulation trying to develop here south of Evans. Moving generally east-northeast. That'll be coming pretty close to Pickens. So that's the next area that we're keeping an eye on. And while we keep an eye on that, I am still searching for news about Yazoo City. listen to that scanner again. Not hearing anything there. Let me try like a county close by. Yeah. Yeah, nothing's getting reported on this scanner yet. All right, we're gonna put back on the calming music since the tornado has lifted, and we could probably get a good view of this storm north of Vicksburg. Actually, let me just go ahead and make sure we got that ready. That one looks like it is trying to organize a little bit better. Does regular farmland make? No, not usually. In fact, you can get a decently strong tornado in the middle of a field and not even really see a debris signature. Yeah, latest scan, our rotation is severely broadened out here. That's good. Good news for this storm and for the folks out in front of it. That means that it is definitely getting impacted by that outflow boundary surging out in front of it. This storm back over here near Vicksburg, though, kind of keeping a close eye on it. You see, it doesn't have as much convection around it. Just kind of ingesting all of that instability that is still left in this area. So that could be the next one to go. We see what our thermodynamics are looking like. I mean, we still have 1,000 joules per kilogram here. New severe thunderstorm warning in northern Louisiana. Over there near El Dorado, Spearsville, Bernice, Duboc, Farmerville, Strong, and Junction City. All need to be indoors and away from windows. The threat for that is damaging winds and potentially up to 1 inch hail, which could be big enough to cause some hail dents there. For nocturnal, but we're not really talking about super high shear, though. So if that instability does collapse, these storms will definitely struggle. We are dealing with lower level lapse rates with this storm as well. So that is also something that is gonna help at least keep these storms from, going ballistic and like crazy, like tornado spam. But as we just saw, these little brief tornadoes are still going to be definitely possible. It appeared literally so fast it rained instantly, starting at the fairgrounds. Okay. Yeah, if you hear anything out of Yazoo City, let me know. I'm still searching online to get more information. Still no reports yet out of Yazoo City. Go back over to that scanner just to make sure.
Whoa, it's you.
Why am I getting ash?
The vehicle is on fire. Highway 16 East and Redbud Road.
Ow. Why was that so loud? Report of a video or of a vehicle on fire. This is the Yazoo County fire.
Copy. Copy 473, go ahead.
Yeah, latest scan, our rotation here continues to broaden out. I can see this tornado warning being allowed to expire here shortly.
What unit do I have in route? Copy, 1223.
Yeah, jump scare to say the least. That like broke my ears.
Copy, 7. Go ahead. Copy.
It's weird. It's like she's talking to somebody, but I can't hear the other side. Yeah, there goes our tornado warning.
Negative.
Yeah, the only report out of the area is that a vehicle is on fire, but I'm not sure if that's related to the tornado or not. Could be separate. It's encrypted. Okay. This is considered a tornado outbreak? No. This is the second confirmed tornado of the day. So, not a tornado outbreak by any means, but I don't think, honestly, I just don't see a lot of evidence that we're going to get to that status either. So, gave me a headache. Yeah. That hit me like a train. I turned that on. The volume was so loud.
Wow, it's you. The capital.
Thanks for being live. Yeah, no problem. Trying to wake me up. Shoot. Good luck. I am NyQuil'd out the wazoo. Hanging on by a thread. For those of you that don't know, I have inhaled oyster shell on accident while trying to suck an oyster. And the shell, there's like little tiny shell particles on the bottom side, and they just flew into the back of my throat. Just tore it up. I've been doing like the worst sore throat pretty much you can have, I think. I mean, I literally just have cuts in the back of my throat. So yeah, we're dealing with that. But I've taken NyQuil to because the symptoms are super similar to like being sick. I have a stuffed nose, all that, because of inflammation of the cuts. So just so you're, I'm not just taking NyQuil for no reason. Tomorrow gonna be like this? No. I mean, maybe like, let me check Eastern New Jersey. It's gonna be windy. Tomorrow's main story is gonna be it's heckin' windy, but we could get a little bit of a surprise or last minute tornado threat over near New Jersey. Let me see if that still shows up on our latest HRRR model run. Yeah, it still kind of does. Not as intense, but like really going into like 1 a.m. on the 20th. Maybe a little tornado threat. Might get like one, maybe one tornado, like 1 or 2 tornadoes are going to be possible tomorrow. Or I guess technically the day after tomorrow, but like basically tomorrow morning. No, the day after tomorrow's morning. Sorry, the 20th in the morning. Dang it. But yeah. monitoring that. It is a little bit of a downgrade, so maybe it's not going to be as intense as it is. We'll have to monitor the trends overnight on that. Sounds awful. It was. When it happened, I like couldn't breathe for like 30 seconds. It was panic inducing. It's never happened to me before. I mean, I sucked many oysters in my lifetime. That's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to put the horseradish and the ketchup with the or the cocktail sauce, right? And then you just slurp it right out of the shell. Never had that problem before, ever in my life. But there was just little shell bits on the bottom of the oyster, and man, it like hit me. Oh man, that was like the weirdest feeling. Inhaling, like, cause like an oyster shell is basically like little tiny fragments of glass. It was like I just inhaled like just glass. Might do it again. I'm watching it. There is a little area of rotation here near Sartartia. Anyways, I am watching that. There does seem to be an outflow though, trying to extend out from this storm that might cut this off. That's so bad. Yeah, it was terrible. Get some antibiotics. I don't have like a fever or anything, so you know, it is possible that I could have like a low end infection back there, but I mean, I don't have any major symptoms other than like a little bit of a stuffed throat and like a really intense sore throat. So, you know, if it does like get worse, or if I develop a fever, I'm definitely going to get some antibiotics, but my body should be able to fight it. Most of the things I've read online say that, you know, when you get an abrasion like that in the back of your throat, it usually heals by itself. It's not as intense. It's not as crazy as it sounds. Like, it didn't go in my lungs. If it would have gone in my lungs, holy moly. That would have been rip your favorite streamer. Y'all would have woke up one morning, been very sad. Probably not. I don't know. I mean, little glass shards into your lungs. That can't be good. I don't think, is that survivable? Still got a headache from that dispatcher. Yeah. Pittsburgh, Tennessee gonna get hit. Most of Tennessee is gonna get hit by something. But those gradient winds are gonna probably be increasing throughout the night. So, you know, you're probably gonna start to feel some stronger winds there in Nashville and Franklin a little bit earlier than before this line gets there. And then you're gonna get the line of storms too. I mean, that's really a main threat. As you can see, we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings up here. We had one earlier, but we haven't had one in a while since then. So, you know, it still is possible to get some severe thunderstorm warnings here associated with this line segment. But I mean, it's not going to be like a life-changing, you know, weather event. We'll do a little bit of a zoomed out view. Antibiotics would be playing it safe. Well, I mean, infections don't they don't just snap kill you. They progress. They have progression, and there's symptoms you got to watch out for. And I haven't had the symptoms yet. So, you know, if I get like, if those symptoms do appear, yeah, of course, we get some antibiotics. But for now, it's just a wound in the back of my throat that is inflamed. And if the sore throat lasts for like another day or two, I think I'm just going to go to a doctor. Northeast New Jersey going to be okay on the 20th. I mean, there is a potential tornado threat up there. I would keep an eye on the latest model runs for that. Gonna grow a pearl in there? Maybe. That'd be something. The first ever human pearl. there a tornado threat for Houston? No, not really. It's just might get some thunderstorms down there. Fever's chill. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm waiting to see. I don't have a fever yet. Say to go to sleep in Yazoo. Let me just double check. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get another round of thunderstorms, but these guys, they won't be tornadic, but some damaging winds could be possible. Let's go check back in with this little area. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna go to sleep tonight, folks. I do still think that there's a little bit of a tornado threat out here. But our storms are like broadening out really quickly. They're not really doing like QLCS spam. If we do get another tornado, it's gonna be pretty brief. But yeah, I need to allow my throat to heal. I wanted to come on here. Like we had a tornado at the beginning of the stream, right? Too. Yeah, we did. We had 2 tornadoes on the stream. Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to push myself for when there's like an immediate tornado threat, but it is getting late. I am sleep deprived. This throat problem has been keeping me up. Like I'm only getting like 4 to 6 hours of sleep. Now I'm on NyQuil. But yeah, I'm gonna get some sleep. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you're in Yazoo City, be doing community outreach, figure out who needs help, and help them out. You know, your local, even if you didn't get hit by it, you know, your family down there in Yazoo City, y'all got to take care of each other. So yeah, reach out, donate with extra supplies that you can, and yeah, really hoping that didn't hurt anybody in Yazoo City. It's a late night storm. Possibly people could have been asleep, so a little bit of higher likelihood of that, but yeah, I gotta rest the voice. I'm sorry, but yeah, you guys keep it easy, stay weather aware, especially out over there near Carthage, Kashuko, north of Vicksburg, near Ridgeland. I think like specifically this storm here, I would say has our highest tornado threat, but it doesn't look like an outflow boundary is about to undercut that. And then so if this storm doesn't do anything, that will probably be it for the night. So those are my thoughts. But yeah, see y'all later. Let me make sure there's not somebody I can raid. I don't think there is. Let me just make sure. Maybe Connor's live. Let me just make sure there's like not somebody else covering this storm that I can like raid. I don't like. I'd love to send you guys to somebody that I'm sure you guys still want coverage if you're in this area. Wish I could provide it. Weather. Severe weather coverage. David Powell. Who's that? Let me just give him a listen.
I suspect this storm's getting ready.
Oh yeah. This is the guy. You can already tell these guys got wisdom running throughout their entire DNA. I'm sending you over to David Powell. You guys go show them some love there. Watching these storms in Mississippi, they will hopefully keep you safe. They seem experienced. I don't know them, but yeah, they are live. So anyways, have a good rest of your night, guys. I'm going to heal up and I'll see y'all later. Peace.